Springfield's Rock Station Q92.9. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm Cruz and very excited to be joined by NASCAR Cup Series driver Ross Chastain, a.k.a. the Watermelon Man. You know he drives the number 1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing, and very excited to talk more with him about Kansas Speedway, Bristol this weekend, and who knows what else we're going to get into. Ross, thank you for your time today. How was your Easter?
My Easter was great. I spent it in Florida, so basically we got done with Martinsville that Sunday for the race, and I took Monday to go to Trackhouse and Chevy and debrief and go through every little nuance of the race weekend. And Monday night, I caught an Allegiant flight. There's an airport right at our shop at Trackhouse, and it drops me right closest to the airport to the farm down in Florida. And so my dad was up for the race. We took off on that flight and got to spend an entire week unplugged from racing and eating all the good meat farm as we are just starting our Florida watermelon harvest. So out in the fields, looking at some watermelons, getting ready to head to the grocery stores. And then Easter brunch was very fortunate to have all 4 of my grandparents with us. And we went to a big Easter brunch with a group of the family and went and rode the boat around out on the Gulf. We're on the Gulf side of Florida and had a good time riding around and back to reality this week.
So what does a watermelon harvest look like for you and your family?
It's manual, hand labor. We've got great groups of folks that come in through our government's H-2A program, and they harvest the watermelons with us, and we're touching them 3 times. We're picking them up out of the field when they're ripe. We're putting them into a school bus. We're unloading them out of the school bus into a packing shed and then into a bin, the cardboard bin you see on the blue check pallet that's in your grocery store. That's something that has not progressed in agriculture and in today's world. For us, in watermelons, there's no machine or mechanized system to harvest them like corn and beans and row crops that you would see across the country. So we cannot harvest in the rain or when the plants are wet. So Florida is getting a lot of rain this week, so we are behind on what we would like to be harvesting. But Florida watermelons are ready and on their way to the stores soon.
I guess I never really realized how much labor was involved in that. That's pretty impressive. Now, Ross, you did have a weekend off or week off. How do you get back into driver mode when it's time to head to Bristol like you are this weekend?
I caught a nice direct flight on Allegiant, which doesn't usually work for me. I'm usually flying on team planes, charter jets with the team, or into the big airports of commercial airports. But yeah, just back to work Tuesday morning. Simulator time is how we prepare. So virtually drove laps at Bristol and just feel like took the time, unplugged, and honestly that time not thinking about it. At one point in my life when I was younger, I thought I needed to be every day focused on racing, but I've learned unplugging is good, and having the Busch Light is good. Eating Meemaw's peach cobbler is good, and then now we're back to work this week.
Now you've got some amazing sponsors on board your number 1 Chevrolet. One of those is Busch Light, and you've been in some of their commercials. What did you first think when they approached you to be in them?
Sign me up. Heck yeah, all for it. I did ask about being the Busch guy, and they said they already had somebody for that. So that red plaid shirt you see, the guy that says Busch real long, and he would keep going for another 30 seconds. Definitely, they've got that role covered, but they needed somebody to drive the race car. After Kevin Harvick retired, they chose me to be the next guy and Trackhouse to be the next team. So something very, very proud of, to drive for an iconic brand like that and continue to roll out new cans. They've recently partnered with Bass Pro Shops. We've got the fishing can car this weekend, so big bass on the side of the car for Bristol. Good stuff all around working with them.
And it's kind of weird, like some tie-ins here in Springfield. Obviously, Bass Pro is based here, started by Mr. Morris. The Busch cans I've seen around town at the grocery stores. And the Busch guy's actually from Nixa, right outside of Springfield. So some weird tie-ins to the car this weekend.
And that's just even more reason you and I got to buy the beer to support them, right?
You are absolutely correct about that, my friend. I actually already got a case for this weekend to watch the race at Bristol. But I always try to support the sponsors that are in NASCAR. That's what I love about the sport. Now, you've got a new teammate this year in Connor Zilisch. Has he come to you with any advice or guidance in his rookie season?
Yeah, we work really well together. Connor's a kid that Justin Marks first told me about when he was racing in the Trans Am Series. Justin was doing it for fun, and Connor was doing it trying to win races and climb the ladder of stock car racing and just racing anything he could. So I remember the first time, Justin, I don't remember the exact scenario, but I just remember Justin saying, Ross, I have the best car. I paid for the best engine, the best chassis, I have the best crew chief. My car is the fastest car you can buy. And he said, I'm racing against this kid. I asked him how the weekend went, and he lost. He finished second, and he had been winning everything, and this kid beat him in it. I said, how'd he beat you? He said, Ross, I am 8 miles an hour faster on the straightaway. And this kid is a half second faster than me around the whole track. So he's not beating me on the straightaway. My car, we have data, I am faster. But in the corners, kid's going faster. And he said it's impossible. I have the best car. It's not possible to go faster than what my car is doing. Justin's a very good road course racer. And he said, I'm going to hire the kid. I don't know how. I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to hire him, and we're going to try to mold him in to be a Cup driver. And he's put him through the O'Reilly Series, ARCA trucks, a lot of stuff. And, I've watched Connor. He's continuing to kind of grow up right in front of all of us.
Now, you've been running some O'Reilly Auto Parts Series races this year. How do you take what you've learned in that series and apply it to Cup when the cars are so much different now?
Yeah, they are very, very different. When I first got into the sport, they were very similar. Same general chassis, same driveline, and now it's really hard to even imagine how they could be more different, the two series race cars. But it's the same track. It's the same working process through the NASCAR system of how they run races. So just being as acclimated as I can to the racetrack and being as exposed, in my opinion, you need to be exposed to the high speeds to make it feel more normal. Think about the first mile you pull on the interstate of a long road trip, you're pulling on and you're trying to get up to speed. You're trying to get the cruise set. You're trying to get comfortable. Think about it 5 hours later. You've been driving for 5 hours. You're relaxed. You probably should be more attentive on the road. But everybody gets relaxed after they do something repeatedly over and over, extended amount of time. So I believe the same thing about racing in NASCAR.
Well, the Cup Series making their return to Bristol Speedway this weekend, an amazing track, but one that's grueling. How do you prepare for that?
Get out there and race in the Truck Series. I believe that getting on track is important. The Truck Series is a one-day show on Friday, so get to do all my truck stuff Friday, then get to sleep and wake up Saturday ready for the Cup car. Something as simple as the transmission. Putting it in gear, you operate the transmission completely differently in the two series. So easy to mess up and could be a day ender, a race ender if you go the wrong way on shifting gears. Could blow the motor up, cause a big crash. So definitely something that don't want that to happen. And the best way to be good at Bristol is to race at Bristol.
Now, Ross, I know that you're focused on Bristol this weekend, but next weekend, the Cup Series making the return to Kansas Speedway, a track that you've won at, and your average finish is about 8th. Pretty good. What is it about Kansas that suits your driving style?
Fast cars, good teams. You're right. It's been good lately, but I went from 2011 to 2018 without winning in anything in NASCAR. And then my first Truck Series race was 2019 that we won for starting in the series in 2011, and that was right at Kansas. So very special. We'll always remember that. The fact that we were able to go win that race, and something that, very lucky to get to race at Kansas in state today as far as the asphalt state of how old it is. And plus they're getting a Buc-ee's right out front. It won't be ready for the race next weekend, but some point in the future going to be a big old nice new Buc-ee's gas station, which is it's pretty cool to think about right there at the racetrack. I don't think I'll be able to see it from on track, but I will every time I drive in. So, if you've ever been in one of those, they are impressive. I have to allocate time for it because I get lost in there and kind of go shopping end to end.
Guess what? I'm not kidding, Ross. We have a Buc-ee's here too. So we've got one of those. O'Reilly's Corporate's here. Bass Pro Shops is based here. The Busch Light guy is from Nixa. I'm telling you, we're tie-ins today. And I was talking to the president of the Kansas Speedway last week, and he had mentioned that Buc-ee's is going in by the track. Also, the rumors that the Chiefs' new stadium could be out by the Speedway also. So lots of development in that area, which is great to see.
I'm glad NASCAR was here first. There is some buildings out here. It is just outside of town, and thinking about or hearing the stories of years when they first came out here, the early years of the Speedway, there was nothing out here. Mm-hmm. So cool to see the growth and what all has been built out here.
Yeah, that mall by the racetrack, I think it's Legends, is super nice too. But Ross, thank you for your time today. I know you got a busy schedule. Best of luck this weekend at Bristol. Hopefully we'll be smashing some watermelons there. And next weekend at Kansas Speedway. We'll be pulling for you, man.
Yep, thank you. Have a good one.
Ross Chastain, the driver of the number 1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series on Springfield's Rock Station Q 92.9.